To really understand about how this video links to image diffusion, I believe that we first need to understand a bit about how images are represented, right? And there is something which is called as a pixel space, which you can think of as a high dimensional space. For the sake of simplicity, let's say that we have Chinese symbols as image. So this is the first image, this is the second image, this is the third image, this is the fourth image, etc. How do I represent this image in a high dimensional space? If I give you a vector, you can represent the vector in high dimensions, right? If I give you something like 1 comma 2, you may say that this is 1, this is 2, so this is my vector. That's how you represent this vector. But how would you represent an entire image in a higher dimensional space? That's where you come to the concept of something which is called as a pixel space. So to represent an image in a higher dimensional space, we first need to maybe convert this image into numbers. And the way to do that is to just break it down into pixels. So I've just zoomed into this image right now, or one of the Chinese symbols, and you'll see that when you zoom into an image, it's just a grid of pixels. So then all I need to do is that, let's say I take a look at all these pixels over here, right? And if this is 128 by 128 pixels, I will arrange these 128 by 128 pixels in a column. So imagine that you have this 128 by 128 pixels, you flatten it all out and you stretch it into a big vector. That's my vector now, which represents this image. And this is a vector which has, let me reduce the ink thickness a bit. This is a vector which has 16384 dimensions. It's a 16,000 dimensional vector and it will be represented in a 16,000 dimensional space. So every image lives in a high dimensional vector space. Now, how do you visualize this? Of course, we cannot visualize a 16,000 dimensional space, but we can visualize two dimensional space, right? So let's say this is one image, it may live somewhere here in a pixel space. This is another image, it may live somewhere here in pixel space. So pixel space is essentially a domain of all the possible images, right? You take all the images, you break them down into 128 by 128 pixels, and then you put a dot corresponding to that image in your higher dimensional space. That's your pixel space, and every image is mapped to a point. Similar to if you're living in a city, every person has a house in the city, or every person stays in a building. Similarly, every image is mapped to a specific point in pixel space, right? Now, once you understand pixel space, there is also something which is called as the probability distribution of an image data set. Now, this is something which you really need to understand. How is the concept of probability distribution linked to that of an image data set? Now, while I'm explaining this course to you, I can directly explain this concept to you, but I also want to tell you a bit about how I learned, right? So, I have a notion of probability distribution. So, if you take the pixel in one dimension, pixel in another dimension, you make a dot out of it, right? Similarly, you sample from a huge number of images and you get a collection of these dots. You'll get, when you accumulate this, you'll get some surface or some sort of a contour. That can be visualized as the probability distribution of an image data set, right? And this is what I would have explained to you if ChatGPT or Gemini did not exist. But now let me actually take you through my process of, if I really want to understand how probability distribution of an image is linked to pixel space, let's see how to use AI tools to understand this better. So I'll go to maybe Gemini and let me say that, hey Gemini, I just understood the concept of pixel space. Essentially, every image can be broken down into 128 by 128 pixels, flattened into a vector, and mapped to a dot in 16384 dimensional space, which is the pixel space. Okay, let's say I have images of Chinese symbols as my data set. I want to understand the concept of probability distribution of an image data set and how linked it's linked to the concept of pixel space. Can you explain this to me? Let's see. So the reason I'm showing this to you is because I want this learning material to be scalable for you when you're learning new courses or new material, because this is how I learn things in depth. I don't get satisfied with things at a surface level or at an immediate level, but I want to dive deeper. So let's see. This is a fantastic question because it bridges the gap between linear algebra and the core logic of modern generative AI. Okay. First, imagine that you are a god looking down at this 16,384 dimensional space. If you were to close your eyes and throw a dart into this space, what would that image look like? It wouldn't look like a Chinese symbol, right? It wouldn't even look like a cat or a tree. It would look like random noise. So 99% of points in the pixel space are garbage noise. Only a tiny, tiny fraction of those points actually look like coherent Chinese symbols. Now imagine that you take your data set of 50,000 Chinese symbols and teleport them into this space at once. They won't be scattered evenly. They will form a sheet or a cloud. This is the probability distribution. So imagine this for a moment, right? Imagine a huge space which is mostly empty, and the Chinese symbols are living in a tiny section of that space. Maybe they are living in a shape which is looking like this. Maybe they are living in some different space. That's called as a manifold. This is a space, or this is a contour where all Chinese symbols are living. That's the probability distribution of this image data set, and it's a very small portion of a huge vast empty space. That's what it means by a probability distribution of an image data set. You collect all the images from the data set, let's say 50,000 images, you map them into pixel space and you see the shape which they are following. That is the probability distribution of that data set. If you want to imagine this is in two dimensions, maybe this is how the Chinese symbols probability distribution might look in two dimensions. So the rest of this space is not where the Chinese symbols are living, because the probability of finding Chinese symbols is lower. A higher vertical magnitude indicates a higher probability of finding the Chinese symbol, right? So now if you take a look at this 3D plot, right? If I go to this location, if I go to this location, and see the y, the vertical magnitude is the highest over here, right? So the probability of finding a Chinese symbol here is very high. Here it's very high. In this manifold, it's very high. But if I go outside this manifold, it's essentially zero, right? So this is a concept which all of you really, really need to understand and master. This is called as probability distribution of images. This is the concept which many people don't understand at all. They don't understand how probability is linked to images. Basically, images are converted into pixels. Pixels are converted into flat vectors. Those are represented in higher dimensional space. You take an image data set like, let's say, Chinese symbols, and you collect all these points together and see the manifold or shape which it forms. That's the probability distribution. It's a very small part of a huge empty space because rest is noise, right? And visualized in two dimensions, a probability distribution might look something like this. So points where the vertical magnitude is the highest, you are most likely to find the Chinese symbols. Okay, that's the probability distribution of an image data set. Okay, and this is the main concept of generative AI or generative modeling. So, one way to say that we are generating images through chat GPT is essentially saying that we are finding this probability distribution. If you go to chat GPT right now, or let's say Google Gemini itself for that matter, and I choose Nano Banana Pro, and I say generate image of a Chinese symbol, what are we doing over here? We are sampling from the probability distribution of the Chinese symbols, right? So if you see over here, please pay very careful attention to this part because this will really motivate uh, the concept of diffusion, right? So when we say that the AI model generates a new image, what the AI model is actually doing over here is that it's sampling from the probability distribution where the Chinese symbols live. So we are essentially finding the probability distribution of where the Chinese symbols are actually living. We are finding the true probability distribution or getting as close to it as possible, right? So let's look at generative AI from a completely different lens. Let's say this is the probability distribution. Let's say this is the probability distribution of a Chinese symbol data set, right? What this actually means is that if we sample from this point, if we sample from this point, if we sample from this point, that will give us a high probability of finding a Chinese symbol. Creating a generative model, what a generative AI model does in a probabilistic sense is that it tries, and if you want the generative AI model to make Chinese symbols, what it's actually doing is that it's trying to find a probability distribution which is as close as possible to the actual probability distribution, right? So if I the red line is my true probability distribution, and the purple line is my predicted probability distribution, one way or one lens to look at generative AI is that we are trying to find this purple line to be as close as possible to the red line. And let's say we get that purple uh, probability distribution, then how do we generate images? This is the concept of sampling. To generate images, what we do is we sample from this predicted probability distribution. So if the predicted probability distribution looks like this, and we have to sample from this probability distribution, naturally we'll sample those points with higher probability, right? So then we'll get this point, which definitely do look like Chinese symbols because this purple probability distribution is close to the red probability distribution. So when you look at chat GPT and when you want to create an image, let's say create an image of a Chinese symbol. Currently, what I'm teaching you is a probabilistic viewpoint of generative AI, right? When I give this text, ChatGPT somehow understands that I have to find the probability distribution where Chinese symbols are living and try to match it to the actual probability distribution. Then it finds this purple probability distribution and then samples from it. Similar to what Gemini also did over here. If you see, we did create an image, right? I don't know where it is right now, but we did create an image, and your chat GPT, yeah, this image. Gemini sampled that purple probability distribution, sampled from that purple probability distribution, and created this image. Similar to what chat GPT is doing right now. It's slowly getting to that probability distribution where Chinese symbols live and then sampling from it. This is the probabilistic lens of looking at generative AI. So usually when other people look at chat gpt, they see that just an image is predicted, right? They don't link it to probability. But to truly understand diffusion, this probabilistic lens is very very important, right? Because what the diffusion model is actually doing is that it helps us to find the underlying probability distribution, which means that it helps us to find this purple distribution to be as close as possible to the red distribution. So the purpose of a diffusion model is to find the underlying probability distribution. Let me write it here. Purpose, the purpose of a diffusion model, purpose of a diffusion model is to find the underlying probability distribution. That is the true purpose of a diffusion model. Now, what we'll see is how a diffusion model sets out to achieve this purpose. But one very careful thing which I already want you all to notice here is that there is nothing specific to images in this diffusion in this definition, right? If a purpose of a diffusion model is to find the underlying probability distribution, why can't this same purpose be applied to text as well as images? Keep this in mind. However, now we are going to see how a diffusion model sets out to achieve this purpose. So let's look at the overall process of noising and denoising, and how do we actually recover this underlying probability distribution.